Welcome back to EEP 15, and this is the river delta layout. It's just a brief progress update without any build parts, but I wanted to show you what has changed, and it's actually quite a bit since last time. So each time I was frustrated with my freight traffic, especially some shunting. I did some I was about to say unnecessary mistakes, which mistakes are necessary, but some mistakes that were probably avoidable. And in the meanwhile, until I figured out what it was, I had trouble with that. And then I came back to here and just built a little bit, and I wanted to show you how far I got here. So let's go into the 3D view. One of the newer things that I did is this area that we looked at very unfinished last time, below the little suburban village here. I decided to put a farm in, and that is my result so far. So there's a farmhouse with a manure pile, some storks flying around, some fields, and here a pasture with some cows, and here some a shepherd with some sheep. I have to thank a good friend of mine from Denmark. He's called Trans-Europa, and he made me a little bit aware of the mistakes I made with my texture choices. So he said my textures, they don't go very well together, and he gave me some advice, and I hope I have applied some of it. Of course, you have to ignore this bright green here. That is just my starting layout elevation indicator. But below here, that are textures that I hope are now slightly less garish. And so there, it's not a bad thing. I think I'm happy with it. That's about as good as I can build things. And that is certainly also just one small area. Another area I built on is this little village itself. And I discovered these, they're called in the store, or some come actually in the set, Fachwerkhaus. This Tudor style or Daub and Waddle style building. And I used this here in the little village. And I think it looks really cute. Like a Franconian village, perhaps, or something like that. And with the church in the background and some nicer buildings back up there. So I would say happy with this. Of course, I have to complete the textures here around. I built a row of trees behind to separate it a little bit optically from the industrial area, which is just behind it. I think it wouldn't go well with this Franconian village look. So I hope that works. Here there will be a little creek going through the through the village, and maybe some paths here going by the houses and by the creeks. So that's certainly something that needs to be done. Here's a little gate or two gates into the churchyard, which I so far have only paved, and see how that develops further. Not sure where that road will go to. Probably, since there is not really a good opportunity to have a road bridge, it will just disappear here somewhere into a tunnel system. So I make myself life very easy and deal with a lot of tunnels in this. Roads are actually also not my thing, really. They're important, of course, for completion. I worked also here on the industrial area, and there are a lot of buildings that are just standing here. The modern warehouses I kicked out and replaced them with this kind of storage module that I got in one of my ready purchased layouts. I believe they look, I think, a little bit better with the Epoch 3 kind of feel that we go to. And up here I started this mining area, and I introduced this gravel plant building last time, which I convert into a coal loading station for myself. I think that's good enough. And the coal is brought here with a little 600mm train, and then via conveyor belt up into the building, and then it will kind of fall down here via a gravity filling system into waiting rail cars once they're here. And I started to build here a little system. So the little 600mm goes into a lower level here, works itself up into a higher level where the actual mine is, and built this little creek down here and this wooden 600mm bridge, which I really like. I'm not really sure about this portals that I have used here to see how it goes with the rest of the mountain. Also, I found this abandoned mine ready block that came with one of the ready purchasable layouts. I think it is the Brockenpfad. The mountain style does probably not fit well with the rock that is seen here, though I probably can't use it. I tried to find an application for it, and that would have been one, but so that is basically, that would have been the abandoned portion of the mine, and that has now been replaced with a new operation going back here into a tunnel and coming up here. And there's our little 600mm train with empty cars. They will be filled up once they go through the actual mine back here, and then they will be unloaded here in this coal storage area. Anyhow, that is that. So we talked about the farming area, the suburban village, the mine. I've put in some roads here and firmed up the placement of some of the track and buildings. So we have here a metal plant with a loading station. The corn plant was there before, or the corn storage area. There will be a loading and unloading, and we have the loading and unloading here at the mine. And here I still plan to do a little commuter train station where the train coming via the big bridge, going to the suburban village below, and finally ending up here, bringing workers to the industrial area. The suburban train, the commuter train, will take here the rightmost tunnel, and this connects back to here our pink area connection, our long distance area. So that is that change. So we have worked a lot on I have to go in the right river direction, left side of the river. Let's go to the right side, even though it appears to be the left side when viewed from this direction. I did some small changes here at the train servicing station, and I changed the roundhouse for a different style that goes better with this buildings that we use here. They have all the same texture, so I think that looks better. And otherwise there's no change. I started building some support walls for this strong steps and incline. I extended the harbor out to here and started thinking about which buildings and what to use here around. Maybe I use some older, I don't know, living areas or worker areas, or maybe even just, not sure if I get away with calling them offices for the port area, but something like that. That will go here. Here, that's the harbor stopping point. There will be a few houses. I also continued working here on the actual city. Finished more of the actual train station, though the reception building is now finished. I added here 2 more freight train storage areas where you can just have some rolling stock waiting, a little shed, engine shed, and oh yeah, here I was desperately looking for a non-electrified train that fits into the epoch, and I found this one. There are two versions of it. This one is the 08, I believe, and it is a more local train, regional train, which will just go to nearby cities. And it's apparently the older one. And it has this large area compartment cars, nothing fancy. Though I believe it had somewhere a first class as well. Let's see if there was a first class compartment in here. Yeah, here, there is a little first class compartment as well. So that will just go forward and backward, and there will be some other diesel trains that use this particular route, and they will just go forward and backward, and they'll take the route that is going here to the topmost. Actually, I elevated both of them now, just to give it a little bit of separation from the train servicing area. So then I built this track walls, support walls, and then kind of defines better where the servicing area ends and where the regular track starts. Yeah, and then finally, I thought long about what to do with the actual city, and I think I will just have here one row of houses behind the train station. Then I will have a lake area kind of alongside here under the bridge. The bridge will cross it. There will be one more row of houses kind of elevated, and then will be one more villa type of houses yet more elevated, and that will be it. I will not build a larger area. I will just have something that kind of goes up and builds a background for this train station that is kind of believable with the proper epoch that I'm trying to do here. Still struggling with material for this, but I found that purchasing some of these ready layouts really helped me supplementing my stock in this region, particularly the Schnellfischbahn or Schellfischbahn, the Schellfischbahn, and the Lübeck-Büchener Eisenbahngesellschaft layouts were very helpful there with this epoch, and I'm very happy that I got those. And you probably recognize much of the materials I'm using from these two stocks. So that is kind of here. You see the Hanseatic houses that are standing here, certainly from that set. They are from the Travemünde city, which was kind of a German little bath town, I guess, at the ocean. Very popular at the time, it must have been. That's about it. So I hope you enjoy this little just brief overview. There are not much things going on yet. I'm not sure. I've started building some shadow train stations back here, and you'll see some more trains. There's another one which I'm not sure I like. This I'm not sure if this purple color is not my thing. And I started to build some trains that may fit the period. Now that I have an electrified train section, I can justifiably use electrified engines, and I tried to look up which engines existed at the time. It's a little bit tricky. These are not all in time with this aerodynamic steam engines. They were certainly around in the late 30s, while these were more like 60s. So if we are liberal and call it Epoch 2 and 3, then certainly we can have them both. But otherwise, it is probably a little bit a stretch to have them both on the same layout. But okay, we'll deal with that when we get there. And by the way, that is a little delay track back here for my 600mm that I made virtual connections in the tunnel. I didn't build an actual tunnel. They go on a virtual connection here, just drive over the delay track and then come out in the other side. But at least they don't come out right away. That was the idea. As always, if you have any suggestion what I should do or should do better, or how I deal with various issues, I'm still learning how to build layouts, especially optically. I also don't know much about the technology of railways at the time, which I certainly should read more up on. But I still enjoy more than I thought actually building these layouts, and I find it fantastic. It's very enjoyable and extremely entertaining to myself. So thanks for watching and following along, and wish you a wonderful evening. Bye bye.